But listen, to understand our current dilemma, we must go back to the origin of our crisis. The foundation for our perpetual oppression was laid very early in 1803. The Haitian people, led by Toussaint Louverture, defeated the French army and won freedom for the enslaved blacks on the island, thereby allowing Haiti to become the first free black republic in the Americas.
The Haitian Revolution is probably the most profound revolution ever realized by human beings. The only place where slaves created a nation. But nobody wants to talk about it.
The prospect of a black republic is equally disturbing to the Spanish, the English, and the Americans.
Prospect of a black republic is equally disturbing to the Spanish, the English, and the Americans.
My decision to destroy the authority of the blacks in Saint-Domingue is not so much based on consideration of commerce and money, as on the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world.
Always there is that nagging anxiety, the nagging fear that somewhere, someday, a slave insurrection will be successful.
You can watch them experiment with it until they get something that they think will keep this system in place.
As punishment for succeeding against a white army and freeing its citizens from slavery, Haiti became the direct target of European and American hostility. Specifically, Haiti was subjected to unrelenting military invasion, economic embargoes, diplomatic quarantines, imposition of US-backed dictators, and demand for reparations.
Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with, and this is a reality.
Shortly after Haiti declared herself a free republic, France demanded $21 billion in reparations from Haiti for depriving France of Haiti's slave labor. Moreover, in 1825, France threatened to re-enslave Haitians if Haiti did not agree to pay France an additional 140 million francs, as well as grant France a 50% tariff reduction for all French ships docking in Haiti. To meet its financial obligations to the French government, Haiti was forced to borrow money from various French banks at extremely high interest rates. From that time on, Haiti has been struggling under the yoke of a huge economic burden, never again to balance its national budget or offer its citizens a good standard of living.
We can't live. A kilo of rice is selling at 30 Haitian dollars. We can't afford to feed our children.
In fact, today, Haiti remains the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere as a direct result of the actions of Europe and the United States in 1825. For a full discussion of the continuing legacy of slavery in Haiti, see Randall Robinson's work, An Unbroken Agony.
My decision to destroy the authority of the blacks in Saint-Domingue is not so much based on consideration of commerce and money, as on the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world.
The Haitian Revolution is probably the most profound revolution ever realized by human beings. The only place where slaves created a nation.
Similar schemes were set in place in the United States shortly after the abolition of slavery. In the United States in 1865, the US government and its white citizens devised new ways to keep blacks enslaved and oppressed. Among the many practices and schemes put in place to hinder the development and